Most people believe intelligence is easy to recognize. Perfect grades, a big vocabulary, impressive achievements. But psychology says intelligence is far more complex than performance on paper. Researchers have found that some of the most cognitively advanced individuals don't always look exceptional in obvious ways. In fact, their habits can seem unusual, intense, or even misunderstood. According to psychology, those strange habits may actually be signs of advanced mental processing. Let's break down what psychology says. First, they talk to themselves. Psychology calls this private speech, and it's strongly linked to higher cognitive control. Studies in developmental and cognitive psychology show that speaking thoughts out loud improves memory, focus, and problem-solving ability. Highly intelligent individuals often externalize their thinking because their brain is processing multiple layers of information at once. Verbalizing helps structure complexity. What looks strange is often strategic, thinking in action. Second, they dislike shallow conversations. Psychology says intelligence is closely connected to intellectual curiosity and a personality trait known as openness to experience. People high in these traits naturally seek depth, abstract ideas, and meaningful dialogue. Research suggests that individuals with higher cognitive ability feel less satisfied with constant socializing when conversations lack substance. It isn't antisocial behavior. It's a preference for cognitive stimulation over surface interaction. Third, they notice tiny details others miss. Psychology links this to heightened pattern recognition and perceptual sensitivity. High IQ individuals often show stronger neural connectivity in areas responsible for processing complex information. This creates hyper-awareness. They detect tone changes, micro-expressions, inconsistencies, and subtle patterns almost automatically. However, psychology also says this constant scanning can lead to mental fatigue because their brain rarely switches into low processing mode. Now let's talk about overthinking. Psychology explains that what appears to be overthinking can actually be advanced future simulation. The brain's prefrontal cortex runs predictive models of possible outcomes. In highly intelligent minds, this system is more active and more detailed. They don't just see one outcome. They see multiple possibilities. This isn't always anxiety. Psychology suggests it's high-level scenario analysis. Another surprising trait is a very small social circle. Psychology says cognitive depth often correlates with selective social investment. Research shows that highly intelligent individuals tend to prioritize meaningful bonds over broad networks. They conserve mental energy because deep processing requires recovery time. And what about daydreaming? Psychology says mind-wandering activates the brain's default mode network, which is closely connected to creativity, planning, and innovation. So when they appear distant, they may actually be building ideas internally. Their mind is not idle, it's constructing. Finally, they question everything. Psychology says analytical thinkers experience discomfort with unexamined assumptions. High intelligence is strongly associated with critical reasoning and reduced cognitive bias. They don't reject rules to rebel. They question to understand. That constant search for why is one of the clearest psychological markers of advanced cognition. So if you relate to talking to yourself, craving, depth, noticing everything, mentally simulating outcomes, protecting your energy, drifting into complex thought, and questioning systems, psychology doesn't call that weird. Atta calls it cognitive intensity. Sometimes referred to as the quietly gifted, these individuals don't need to prove their intelligence because psychology says true intelligence isn't about showing off knowledge. It's about how deeply and differently your mind processes the world. And sometimes that just looks unusual.